Welcome. My name is Sean O'Neill. I'm with Hunter Industries and I am the Field Operations Manager. Today I'm going to give a brief description of how to service our top service G800 series rotors. Normally, when you're in the field, you have to dig up the head to get to your solenoid and pilot valve, so on and so forth. With our rotor, the TTS, Total Top Service, there is no digging required. So, to remove the drive assembly, simply take your snap ring removal tool, push it into the snap ring, lift, and then take it out. Your drive assembly is now free to be pulled out of the canister. So once you have your drive assembly removed, this allows you access to the lower valve assembly. Uninstall the lower valve, you require a long 16-inch pair of pliers. You will reach down and remove the lower snap ring. You squeeze and lift. This now allows the lower valve to be removed. You can use the valve insertion removal tool, or you can use the pliers. Inside, there is a tab. You will grab the tab and you will remove the lower valve. For reassembly, it is the opposite. On the lower valve, you will notice that there is a communication port. This communication port must be lined up with a certain indication dot on the top of the sprinkler. When you have it correct and you insert this back into the body, you will not be able to turn this. So I do not have this correct. So I put it over the rib, now I cannot turn. You take and you push down with your pliers. Then you take your snap ring, make sure that it is upside down, preload it onto your pliers. The opening of the snap ring right here only aligns in two different positions. It can either point to the Hunter on the flange, or it can point to the G800 on the flange. Either direction is fine. Anywhere else, no good. So I'm going to pick the Hunter side, drop my snap ring back in, give it a tap, and now it's installed. I can now reinstall my drive assembly and my snap ring, but I will leave those out for now. Next, to be able to get to the solenoid, pilot valve, and pressure regulator, you will remove two screws from your flange. On the side of the flange, only on one side, is a notch. You can use your snap ring removal tool, insert into the notch, and then lift your lid. Inside the compartment, there is some tubing and some wires. Here is your pressure regulator. If I grab the solenoid and I just pull directly up, I now remove the solenoid and the pilot valve. This is what we call the selector cap. If you need to remove the solenoid, it is best to remove the selector cap, and then you can unthread the solenoid from the pilot valve. Now you can service either one. When you go to put it back together, there is a certain alignment. If you look at the shape of the solenoid, it has a small flat. On the back of the pilot valve, there is also a small flat. You align the flat to the flat, and then you start screwing it together. You screw it all the way down, and then return it to the first notch on the detent ring. Once you have done that, you can now reinstall back into the canister. It just snaps in. You will fold your wires over the top of the solenoid, and on the selector cap, you will notice there is a notch. The notch is for the wires. So you place the notch over the wires, take your regulator, put it back in, neatly tuck all the wires and tubes back inside, and then replace your lid. Put your two screws, you are now complete. If you need to change nozzles on your drive assembly, we have a nozzle collar tool which helps us with this. So with the drive assembly removed, you can push down on the spring, install your nozzle collar, and now you can work and change your nozzles if required. Once complete, you pull your tool off, drop back into the canister, making sure that it is fully seated and the O-ring does not roll. The opening of the upper snap ring must be placed anywhere but where the lid compartment is. So I like to do it by the caution sign, push down with one finger, and then just roll, and it's complete. Thank you for choosing Hunter.